Hi, I'm Nick Ross from IT Wire. Today we're with Rapid7. Who are you? What is your role and what is your remit?
Hi, my name is Jaya Blue. I'm the Chief Security Officer of Rapid7, and I'm responsible for both internal security as well as making sure that, customers, partners, society in general can trust us with any security stuff that they want us to do.
And how did Rapid7 first come about? Why would companies want to work with you?
That's a great question. I think Rapid7 initially emerged because there was just a need to better understand what kind of vulnerabilities and threats organizations were facing. So Rapid7 set about to kind of do exactly that, to help you make better decisions and prioritize which cybersecurity challenges you needed to address first by making them in the first place visible, and then in the second place prioritized, and then have a sort of workflow that would allow you to figure out with you and your cybersecurity teams, where you put your resources, how you get things done, how to prioritize really specific threats, and then have an end-to-end story on a single pane of glass, which is kind of the holy grail in our industry to try to reduce complexity.
Okay. And you were the former vice chair of the EU's Commission and Quantum Flagship Committee. Got all that out eventually. What should organizations and governments be doing today to prepare for a post-quantum computing world?
Yeah, so I think it really starts by, first of all, understanding what the threat is. So figuring out, what does it mean in terms of quantum technologies? What are they? So if it's computing and communication and sensing metrology or simulation that hey, there's all this really cool quantum stuff coming out, but there's one very specific area around computing where we would need to mitigate against some of the potential threats, which is that quantum computing can pose a threat to our current cryptography. So we need to make sure that we have measures in place like potentially quantum communications or replacing our current weak cryptography with different post-quantum algorithms, which would then not be impervious to a quantum attack. So when we do that, we're good to go.
And how can organizations improve their cybersecurity posture and better combat threats in general now?
Yeah, I think it really starts by understanding what it is you're protecting from whom. So that's a certain degree of cyber awareness. Like I know myself and I know what I've got to protect my critical assets from a very specific type of adversary. So that's the first thing. And most organizations are really, really weak here because it is hard to do. So that understanding of thyself. And then once you know yourself, your data flows, what you've got to protect and from whom, then the second thing is to see how it's going. So that means like having that visibility that you can see all of your network and understand which attacks are coming, and then prioritize, like we talked about, by doing risk intelligence. Because if you're trying to do everything equally, then you're not handling the most significant threat first, then you really have issues. So we're just good at looking busy then, and that's something that nobody wants. So if you can know all your stuff, you see how it's going. The third thing is to be able to act quickly and rapidly to those threats. So security capability is the third thing that every organization needs to get right. So that means first and foremost, preventively trying to do stuff, detectively trying to make sure we see everything, and then responsively being really quick to address those failures. That's what everybody needs to do, and we wouldn't have these issues.
Okay, so Australia is going to soon release its 2023 to 2030 cybersecurity strategy. Based on your global observations, are more regulations a help or a hindrance? And where would you say the balance is?
Yeah, so I think I'd like to separate two things. So I think it's really great that Australia is going to release its new strategy, and I've seen some early thoughts on what that's going to look like, and I think it's all very similar. If you look at approaches taken in both Europe and in the United States, this Six Shields program sounds like it's got a lot of commonality with others, specifically in the area of education and threat intelligence sharing, and really bringing everyone on board from regular people to industry and to public entities as well. I think this is really the way forward. I don't want to equate it directly with regulations because some regulations are far more strict, and what we see happening in both Europe and the United States is this movement towards very strict regulatory frameworks with liability and fines imposed to it. So I would argue that this cybersecurity strategy is just that. It's a strategy. And what I expect will happen on the back of it is there will be more and separate additional regulatory requirements. And that is where I think we need to pay a lot of attention, because there's often very good intention, but there's not a lot of excellent execution of those regulatory frameworks. So they tend to be really broad in terms of the amount of expectations they have, and then quite strict in the amount of fines imposed without necessarily explaining what it is you need to do to avoid those fines in a very specific fashion. So I think that's when you need to make a lot more attention to what they're doing, but the strategy is a great thing.
And how is Rapid7 supporting its customers?
Yeah, so I really think that what we try to do with our suite of products is try to make security simpler and easier for those CISOs that are, juggling all of these things. We're very much a practitioner first company. So all of the challenges that any other CISO would face, I'm facing. Our product teams genuinely deeply understand security. So as a result of which, we make these things that people who are actually doing this every day can directly parlay with, because this is the experience. So that practitioner first mentality means that we're able to help customers with their biggest challenges because, hey, we're facing them too.
Okay. And how do you see the next 12 months unfolding?
Yeah, so I'm holding on to my heart a little bit because, I mean, these are challenging days ahead. And what we see globally is that you see that cybersecurity, at least the attention for the subject, is gotten a lot of focus and a lot of attention. But I don't think that always equates to budgets increasing for information security teams. And we still have a skill shortage globally with people trying to kind of meet the demands. And it's not just in cybersecurity specifically, but it's across the board. In IT, we have way too many open positions and not enough qualified hands to fulfill them. So I am a little bit worried. The threat is expanding. There's a really clear financial incentive for threat actors. There's trillions in the cybercrime industry, and we don't necessarily always have those trillions back in the budgets of all the different information security officers across the board, and we're getting higher degree of penalization. So it could be that regulatory framework compels us to do more. But I think, I'm a wait and see kind of person for the next 12 months.
And how can potential customers work with you? You direct or through the channel or what?
We're both. We love working with channel partners. People can always contact us directly. That's fine. I think Rapid7 is just like a lot of other cybersecurity companies. We're here for our customers. And so we try to make that as well an easy as a journey as possible.
And is there anything else you'd like to add while you've got the year of ITWire's B2B Australian audience?
Yeah, so you're the first person that hasn't asked me about AI as, what about the threat of AI?
I was going to. I didn't want to check it in, but we've heard it to death in many places. But I mean, right. Let's hear your take on it for sure.
No, so I think that, there's a dual edged sword here, like so many other technologies. And so it can bring us great benefits, but the notion is that we tend to kind of conflate the danger of AI with the accessibility that we currently have with these LLMs. And I don't want to equate that. So I think that it's really wonderful that we have this accessibility of this new technology. But I think that we shouldn't overinflate the size of the threat just yet, because we haven't seen it evinced in any attacks. We're seeing some use of AI, but it's not on the massive scale that you might expect. And it's really towards crafting better phishing emails and things like that. I do think that when we see it really advance malware creators' purposes, that's when we should start getting worried, but we haven't seen it yet. So I want to emphasize the lack of fear, uncertainty, doubt as an argument to do that. And I think we should be very skeptical of all of the tools that also employ AI to make sure there's no algorithmic or poisoning attacks of those AI mechanisms or machine learning mechanisms that they've deployed in their tooling. So also there, avoid the hype would be the thing that I would counsel.
Okay, Jaya Bali, thank you very much.
Thank you.